Hello, everyone.
One hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese, 4 limerick oysters, 5 corpulent porpoises, 6
Wait,
pairs of
what?
donald-bears with
Oh,
tweezers,
what
7,000
is
Macedonians in full battle array, 8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt, 9 sympathetic, apathetic, diabetic old men on roller skates with a profound propensity towards procrastination and sloth, 10 lyrical, spherical, diabolical denizens of the deep who haul stall at the corner of the quo with quay of the queevery all at the very same time. Boom. Get your words together, Brendan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan Pugh.
And I'm Aiden Pugh.
This is Writing Quest Episode 5, and today we finish the prologue. We kill off a character twice, times, and we figure out who our main character is.
Maybe. Brendan finished out the prologue. He also went back and he added in a couple things, just fleshed it out, made it, a little bit more cohesive, made stuff flow a little bit better. If you're watching, then everything that's covered in green, that is Brendan's edits. Okay?
New stuff.
New stuff.
So the blue stuff is the old stuff I wrote. Red is your old stuff you wrote. The green is the newest stuff.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
All right, cool. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this.
No. I just added a couple little...
Yeah, so you added some just tiny little things that were like, oh yeah, I like that. I like the description of the dog, the wolf. I like that later you added in this little scene of Agorath, talking to the wolf. You expanded that scene a little bit more to get some of that information out. I really liked how you did wolves. That's what it called itself. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like it's a word that's never been heard before.
Yeah, he didn't know what to call it. Like, you knew it was a dog or,
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch.
The one part, if you go up in this, that we need to play with was the wolf talking. So if you see, in the beginning, it said something like, the words sounded funny in its mouth.
The words sounded strange coming from its mouth, as if it was a great effort that used his words.
And then, as you go down... I said something about it. Agorath noted it was speaking clearer now than it had before. So a speaking mechanic for the wolves we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I have this idea of the all speak.
Okay.
So as he's around Agorath, he's just picking it up. So when he first speaks, he's kind of like he can say some stuff. But the longer he's around Agorath, the more he picks it up. Is okay,
All speak.
Something to think about.
I like it. I like the sound of it, by any means.
That's the only thing I wanted to note in there.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah. Met the wolf, talked a little bit more with the wolf. That was great. You added in a little bit more here with Brick. I thought that was awesome. It was just you made it a little bit more vivid, I thought. Let's see, and then you did all the usual stuff. You added in a couple little bits to make the story flow. I like that you made sure that Morthal, you identified him as a mage, mm-hmm. including next to Artemis. Artemis for the win. Okay, so yeah, you added some more emotional things with Gaian. Okay, then you added a scene here.
The big stuff.
The big stuff. So essentially, in the last version, the baby died in childbirth.
Yes.
And you've added on, and then we left it at that, and now you've added on that Delmaya dies.
Well, what I was trying to add...
Okay.
So what happened in the original is we wrote that the baby died, and then Gaian runs into the tent.
Yes.
And then you started it with Artemis just, doesn't follow up with that.
Yeah.
And so what my goal was I just need to add a little more, Artemis needs to try to go into the tent... he needs...
Where did
what happened there? Something...
Yeah.
It was missing that chunk.
Okay.
And then I wrote that she died, and I was like, huh. Okay. But we did discuss her not dying.
So, full disclosure, I didn't like it.
Okay. But I thought...
But here's correction. No. In my reaction, I said, she needs to die. I don't think that now is the time.
Okay, I have a thought. But
go ahead. Okay. So the reason I don't think that she dies right now is because I feel like it has to be a ramp up. What's that thing that pushes Gaian over the edge?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could be her. That could be her dying. that could be her dying.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
I had a thought after I wrote it that, and we'll get into this when we talk about the beginning of chapter 1. I had a thought that they're both dead.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a cool way so maybe the wolves and Magi are coming together.
Okay.
The wolves, through whatever magic they have, raise her back to life. But she is now a werewolf. She's a part wolf, part human, and now we have the werewolves a little bit differently, but that introduces them to the story.
Okay.
Or they raise up the baby, but it'd still be a baby, so I think we're just going to leave the baby out of it for now. All I'm saying, I thought there's potential to have a cool moment where, raised back to life, Guyan finds hope, and then we could kill her again. And then it still does the same thing, but we also have another story thing that...
I do like killing the same character twice.
Well, Marvel's been doing it for a while, so... Whole can open
worms everywhere. Okay, so... By the way, WandaVision is amazing, and I love it. Thank you.
Agreed.
Next. Okay, okay. So that's a lot of information. That's a...
So with what you were thinking and...
I was thinking... just same thing, but she just, you could literally take the same words, I feel, and
she could just not die.
And she could just not die until later, and then you just copy-paste.
Yeah. We still need to have this moment in here where he goes to the tent,
where he goes into the tent.
Gets kicked out, you know?
Because I feel like if we don't care as much about Damaya's death, I think, if we don't know who she is, and yes, we can show it a little bit with how Guyan reacts to it, but I think that the reader needs to feel that loss as well, and it's hard to feel loss with someone that you didn't know.
Yeah.
So
we could do a lot of things with it. So even if whatever way we go with it, she dies eventually. We could end up they find the Evertree, they figure out all the magic stuff, and then maybe Guyan gets to see her again, as a spirit or a corporal, some kind of So you could do we could do all sorts of things with Delmaya as the book goes along. Where she appears, or there's flashback. There's all sorts of
Okay. So, sweet. Okay, so that's how I felt about this thing. I feel like her dying is essential, but
at some point.
If this is how we want to do it, and they bring her back to life, that's a whole other thing. But we can work with it. That is a point that in the future, if we're trying to make edits and shift stuff around, that's a part that I'm gonna revisit. Does she die at the right point? Mm-hmm. For right now, we can just keep going. Okay, so that's the prologue. I feel pretty good with the prologue.
I feel like it's in a solid place to move on.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a great place to leave it. So chapter 1.
It's exciting. We're in chapter 1.
We're in chapter 1.
Woo!
Okay, cool. Now, my first note is it doesn't feel like chapter 1.
Well, crap.
So, okay. So I thought it was great. You set up, the 2 mounds and that Guyan is still mourning and it's been 3 years. And we talked about a time skip, which you did. Totally down with time skip. Thought it was great.
Which I was back and forth on. And then I thought 3 years is he would still probably have some grief. But it's enough time that they've worked on it a little bit and they've moved forward.
But it's still, in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you had a little scenes we saw where they were, we saw what happened, and now we see where they are, and this is where the story takes off. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like when I read this, the prologue doesn't feel like the prologue, it feels like a chapter 1, and then this feels like chapter 2.
Okay.
So, either... And just think about it. I feel like the prologue is meant to set up backstory. I think that it's meant to set up questions for the reader to have. But I feel like... Yeah, I feel like it could be... this could be chapter 2.
Yeah. So I wrestled a little bit with who do I start with? Mm-hmm. Because, my first thought was a lot of times you do a prologue... Mm-hmm. And then you just jump characters. Right. That's probably why it doesn't feel like it to you. Aragon is a good example. They start with the Shade, and then they jump to Aragon.
Or Star Wars Legends, right? Mm-hmm. Every single Star Wars Legends book, I haven't read a ton of them, but every single one I've read starts off with a prologue of the villain.
Well, lots of them do.
Yeah. So, we
didn't do that.
And we didn't do that. So that's kind of why it feels like, wait a minute. However, opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Introducing new character.
So, yeah, I had a thought of we could jump to the wolves. Or we could jump to another character that leads up to this part. Maybe there's a part before this part. You know?
Yeah.
Did you have a new character in mind?
I was thinking of somebody young. So Agorith and Gaian, I feel like, are Thor and Iron Man.
So this is the part where we don't know who the main character is.
Yeah. But I feel like this is where we do meet the main character.
Right.
And I feel like this is now our Tom Holland Spider-Man moment to bring in, who is the young person trying to prove himself.
Take it forward,
That's going to take it forward. And his life is going to be affected by everything. I feel like before we can really get into chapter 1, I feel like we've set up enough. I feel like now is the time to outline and plan to, like, where are we going? Where are they? And I think that before we really get into chapter 1 and onward, I think we do need to do some light outlining.
Yeah. So actually, as we're talking about this, just having a thought, because the ultimate goal of this is that we're going to have these two brothers fighting, and then we're going to get to where we're creating the Wolf Riders. Right?
Yeah.
This is the main character. A young person, male or female, I don't know. That is the center. Ooh, okay. Okay. You're watching it happen. So now we have Agorith, and it's Ro!
No. Okay, why?
So we always talked about, and Ro is some other story idea we've had. I'm not going to get into it. Remember, we had talked about the two mentors. So now we have two mentors. So we need the person, and that person becomes the first person to bond with a wolf and become a hunter. Which means now they're fighting over him. Now Gorath starts getting corrupted, and Gaian starts ascending to be more of a hero. Right?
Notes.
But pretty...
It can work. It can work. Okay. So, Ro. Okay. The idea of Ro is that she is the first person with magic. Because we always see, like, magic is ancient, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this book is kind of meant to be, the history of it. At some point, they always talk about the magic ancients. Mm-hmm. The magic ancients had to learn how to do magic. They had to figure out the spells. Some of them had to explode and die.
Right.
Because they were dumb and they didn't understand it. Some of them had to turn half bird, half not bird, and then boom, a new race is created because of their mistakes.
Right.
Like, so this is we're gonna have to go back and edit some things but hear me out.
Okay.
Ro is the first magic user.
Yes and no.
Well, okay, wait. So what if the mentors, right, and all of these people had magic the way that the Magi have now, right?
Okay.
Then the Awakening, whatever the hell that is, they don't have magic anymore.
Okay. Yes.
And then Ro is the first person with magic since.
So, okay. So,
and it's a completely new kind of magic, too.
Right. So the hunters, my whole thing with them has always been that any one of the other races bonds with a wolf, and the bond in conjunction with the Evertree, however that works, creates the ability to have elemental magic. So then you get into a little bit of like bending, like air bending, earth bending. So
that
like
kind of thing, yeah.
They would bond together, and now the pair of them can control fire, or whatever. So maybe the Awakening happened. Okay. Sealed them off from magic. now Agorath can't use magic. So now this new character, the Ro character, bonds with the wolf, can now use magic. So that starts Agorath's like covetousness.
Covetousness.
He covets, and he's like,
her abilities.
I need the magic. I had magic. I want magic.
My life is falling apart. My brother hates me.
Right. So so at the beginning he could still be the good guy, but it's slowly corrupting him because he wants magic back.
Right.
And then Gaian basically has to rise to the occasion and be like, no. And Gaian could be the beginning of the Knights of Whiteforge. And the Knights of Whiteforge started to hold back magic.
Did it all just break your brain?
This is great.
Good.
Okay. None of you know who Ro is. Ro has been a story that we've thrown back and forth for a long time.
She's been modern day New York.
We've never really known quite what to do with her. This could be it.
The idea is that she's the first magic user.
Yeah.
This could work.
Could work. Everyone likes...
It's so crazy.
Yeah,
it
this
just
is gonna be
might work.
Okay. I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So, the beginning of this chapter then needs to cut to Ro.
Yes. I think that the scene can still happen.
This scene happens in here, maybe.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Or it gets rewritten from her perspective.
What if... Wait.
Oh, no.
Okay, no, so...
All these videos are going to be from now on. It's just people listening to us go...
Brent. So, okay. I do hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
Okay, what time? Okay, we good. So, what if Ro doesn't become a hunter? What if she becomes the first Magi since, because she's the first person to link up with the new Evertree, because the old Evertree is dead, which has something to do with the awakening, right?
Okay.
Because there's multiple Evertrees here, and she's the first person for whatever to link up to this new one in this new land that they don't even know about.
But Agorath can't touch it.
Or just doesn't know.
Right.
Right? And she is like the Magi. And then she finds out maybe that she can unlock other Magi's powers. Eventually, maybe that can be a climactic thing or an Act 2 thing or something. Maybe she can have that kind of ability. But what if she starts helping Agorath because Agorath is like, I'll make you powerful. I will teach you the ways. I'll teach you the ways. You'll have a seat like amongst the clan that is like, you will lead you will make us great, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I want to do that. With the
devil whispering in her ear.
Exactly.
And then you got the angel over here.
And then Gaian is like,
don't trust my brother. Don't
think about what happened last. You don't know what happened last time. There's a reason why we had to start over. Mm-hmm. And Agorath is power hungry, which the reader can find out gradually and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when she finds out that Agorath is crazy or is going too far, is rescued by Gaian in some fashion. She teams up with Gaian, and then he and her go to the wolves. Mm-hmm. And then she creates the first bond between Wolf and Gaian.
Oh.
Or maybe not Gaian. Or maybe Gaian, and then he can still start Whiteforge.
No. Whiteforge has nothing to do with magic. They're a Brotherhood of Knights.
Okay.
You could still do that with Agorath and Ro, but then she could still become a hunter. So, like, she becomes a hunter. They wouldn't be called hunters. She gets the magic. It's a different magic, but he still does the, like...
Yeah, but how does he get the magic back, though?
Well, that's what he's trying to figure out.
Well, that's why I'm like, if she's a full-on Magi, as you said... By the way, the Magi in his stories are way overpowered.
Super OP.
Like, she is that. And maybe she can become the first hunter, too. And maybe she has both. Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe, something like that. Because there has to be some bridge between the hunter's magic and the Magi's magic. Because it is different, But if their origins are the same, there has to be something that connects them. So maybe she has both.
What if Rose a twin?
I hate
I don't
twins.
like that.
No, I hate twins.
Twins don't work.
I'm so sorry, twins.
We love real twins, just not in stories.
We're sure you're great people.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot to go over there. Okay, so that's where we are. We've started chapter 1. We finished the prologue. Clearly, we're already going to have to edit the prologue, but we'll come back to that. Whew.
That's a lot. This is a lot.
Okay,
So that's Writing Quest.
that's Writing Quest, episode 5. Like, comment,
Subscribe.
share, do the things, and we'll see you next time for episode 6.
Where I try to pull this thing together into something.
Where he tries to make it into something great. Anyways, we'll see you next time on Writing Quest. Yes, I'm going to make you do that every time.